Barbados, get up.
Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning. Good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning.
Wake up, wake up, wake up.
Morning to you.
Good morning to you indeed, and welcome to Wednesday, the 14th of May, 2025. I'm Pearson Bowen. It is wonderful, as always, having you company. Thank you for waking up to keep us company, for turning your TVs on, going online as well to watch, and to all of you, a tremendous, wonderful Wednesday. If you're watching us on our streams on Facebook, YouTube, or our website, cbc.bb, we are grateful for your company. Continue interacting between yourselves, but also interacting with us. And as I always say, share the show, share the love, tell someone else about us, bring them along as well to engage in what we do every day. We love our little community, but we want that community also to grow. And so as we grow, tell someone else about it, and let them come too. Let them tell someone else about it and bring someone else along as well. So to all of you, thank you. Thank you so much for keeping company. If you have something or someone that you'd like for us to share on the show, send us an email. Our email address is morninbarbados@cbc.bb. morninbarbados@cbc.bb. We are thankful for you partnering with us so that we can share every day the best of Barbados. Indeed, we thank you for sharing us your tips and your ideas. So keep sending us your email, morninbarbados@cbc.bb. It's a wonderful Wednesday. We had more rain yesterday. And already this morning starts with a bit of cloudiness. I'm not so sure what we can expect for the rest of the day, but I absolutely love it. To you, Patricia Ben in the overseas, good morning to you, Patricia. Have yourself a lovely day. Auntie Faye, good morning to you as well from St. Peter. She wishes all of you a lovely today. Anthony Smith is in the New York area, and so he sends to Barbados the very best of a Wednesday morning to you too, Anthony. Vereen Walker, I love it. You guys are up and active. Vereen Walker, good morning to you as well. She's saying good morning to the crew. She's wishing everyone today a very safe day with love. And to you, Vereen, we send our love back to you indeed. Thank you very, very much for keeping company and for thinking of us in the morning. I have a riddle for you that is still outstanding. You know how I do this. Y'all have not solved this. I need this solved before I can move on to the next riddle, and I shall not move until that riddle is resolved. So the riddle is, poor people have it. Rich people need it. If you eat it, you die. What is it? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Poor people have it. Rich people need it. If you eat it, you die. What is it? 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me now. You know Beverly and all the rest of you are working hard. You could not sleep because you were thinking of an answer. Well, call me now. Let me see if the thoughts you've shared overnight with yourself are right or wrong. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Coming up today, remember, in the midst of change, there is also life. And in the midst of life, there is also change. And a lot of us somehow become very anxious when these changes occur. And particularly when we are transitioning from one space to another space, from one time into another time, from one set of people to another set of people. Parents and children, we all have the same feelings. Our clinical psychologist, Dr. Joy Sue, will join me in just a moment as we share about that and how we can manage our emotions through that change. But we have a call already. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Pearson.
Hi, how you do?
I'm good, thanks. And you?
I'm well, thank you for asking. Did you get wet?
No.
This is the lie down and still in bed voice? Listen, you have to shift, as the old people would say, shift your carcass, girl. Get up and get going.
Don't have anywhere to go.
You don't have to have anywhere to go, but you may have dishes to wash, a house to sweep, clothing to launder. All of those things you still have to do, don't you? Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
I can sweep the house.
You can choose your timing.
Yes.
All right. So what do you think is the answer?
Nothing.
I don't understand. You don't have an answer for me?
I have an answer. Your answer is nothing to the question.
Yeah, but what is the answer? I'm asking. Don't tell me nothing.
The answer to the question is nothing.
Is nothing?
Poor people have nothing. Rich people don't need anything. And if you don't eat,
But not what you just said. Poor people have nothing. Rich people don't need anything. Is that the same thing?
nothing. So you're trying to mess me up.
I don't try to mess you. I just want to be clear that your working might be right or wrong. So
And
poor
if you
people have nothing. Rich people don't need anything. And if I eat nothing, I will die, right? That's what you're saying to me. That's what you're saying to me. And nothing and not anything are the same thing. Taste the same way.
No.
Answer me. Answer me.
No, nothing is. But okay, rich people need nothing.
Look at me, you do some bad English. Listen, you're absolutely right. Here,
Yeah.
don't let me lead you around the mulberry bush. You're absolutely right. It's nothing. Yeah. And how long did it take to come up with this answer?
It's just I was thinking from yesterday.
From yesterday. And so it was all in your head. You didn't go online in search of an answer or anything like that. You didn't go to AI to see if AI knows the answer.
Yeah,
I'm listening.
A, B, or C, D, or A, or nothing.
In other words, artificial intelligence. You didn't seek an answer. It was all from your brain.
Partially.
And then the other part came from where? Don't listen to the TV. Talk to me, talk to me, talk to me. So if partially it was from your brain, where did the rest of it come from?
My phone.
In other words, you Googled. Am I right?
You got that right.
I would like to shut down Google when I'm doing this for real. Don't do that. You see how your brain works? Your brain is such a magical part of you. And if you don't nurture it and allow it to do the function it was designed for, you shall lose it. Did you know that?
I use my brain.
Yeah, but then you use your brain, but don't go to the phone, don't go online in search of an answer. Try to work it out yourself. There's greater satisfaction. All right? All right, Sister At. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, take care now. I keep telling you, don't go online. Do not go online. Everything you see online is not always right. Hint, hint. Take my foolish advice. All right. So Dr. Joy Sue will join me in just a little while. Now, when we talk HR with her map this morning, we take a deep dive into the fundamentals of change management. How do we manage that change, and when do we get it wrong? What are the things that we need to do to get it right, especially in organizations? And sometimes we assume we know that about all it takes. We can get it so wrong. And so we're talking about that when we meet with her map this morning. Today we make a connection once again with Front Page Africa, as we do get from their perspective a view of how they covered the recent visit by Barbados President, most excellent Dame Sandra Mason, to Liberia. We can't wait to hear from them just what that experience meant for them and how people of Liberia responded to the Barbadian delegation's presence there indeed. We're very close to the day when we ask everyone to join hands and clean up Barbados. And so the people behind the activity will join us as we remind you as to why you need to sign up to be a part of the cleanup of Barbados. Remember, tourism is our business? It is indeed. It's also the business of our young people. And so the Youth Congress is coming up very soon, and we want to be able to show you just what happens when your young child engages in the Youth Conference and the Youth Congress. Friday is the deadline for applications, and so ahead of that deadline this morning, we want to show you just what happens so you get a sense of what your child will be engaged in. And the National Seniors Games are almost upon us, the launch thereof coming up very, very soon. As a matter of fact, just over a week away, and the team will be back to talk to us more about what we can expect this year in the edition of National Seniors Games. All right, ready to get started? Let's get started with clinical psychologist Dr. Joy Sue, who is with the psychiatric hospital, but who is a big contributor to Mornin Barbados. She joins me now. Dr. Sue, good morning to you.
Good morning.
First of all, congratulations on your recent award. We saw you on TV receiving your award. That must have meant a lot to you.
Thank you. It did. It was a recognition of the work that I've put in over the years. So yes, it did mean a lot.
And there's a lot of work that you have put in over the years, and so many people are benefiting from your sage advice when you meet with us as well on Morning Barbados. And that's why today we want to look at managing our anxiety through change. And part of that is because there are a group of people called our children who are making transitions from one school to another school, who are making transition from one exam to another exam, and then us, the parents, who also have to manage that transition alongside them. So let's talk a little bit about that and why you think it is critical that we do manage the process of change here and our own anxiety.
Well, I love how you introduced the topic earlier, because there are a number of transitions that we have to make in our life, especially during childhood, that can be very stressful. And this is one of them that is very stressful, especially when you're changing from the secondary school, from the primary school stage to the secondary school change. That can be one that is very stressful, and that's sometimes where children would then manifest mental health problems. And it's all when you deal with change, is all about how you manage that change. I apologize, Kirsten. I think the rain is trying to compete with me today.
I love it. I love it. Let's thank God for the rain today. Indeed, it sounds so wonderful about here, just hearing the downpour. So, but we can still hear you very clearly.
Okay, very good. So you have to first, I like to think about how you cope with certain things in a framework of these 3 coping strategies I like to teach, which are problem solving, coping, emotion focused coping, and appraisal based coping. Mm-hmm. So I'll start with the one everybody's more familiar with. Right now, your children just did their exams, they're waiting for the results. You don't want to be completely talking, like bringing up the exam all the time for the child. Mm-hmm. And you as a parent, you don't want to be constantly focusing on that either and wondering and worrying what results your child are going to get. You don't want your child to pick up that worry or anxiety in you either, because they will also feel that anxiety, you'll feed on it, as people would say. So you want to do things to make yourself relax, take your mind off. So you want to do things like engage in a hobby. Maybe you and your child go to the beach, do something relaxing together, or you as a parent do something that will relax. You go get a massage, anything that you can do within your budget to try and relax. And you also want to talk it out with your friends. And if it's your child, you want to listen to your child. Your child might have fears or worries about it. Mm-hmm. Listen to your child, get them to talk that out. And that is a way of also letting them release the stress that is associated. So you can ask them how they did in the exam, what were their hopes for it. Let them talk about what they're worrying about. Because if we go to the other phase of coping, the appraisal base, most persons have a perception of things. Mm-hmm. So when you go into an exam, you kind of have an idea of what you want to get in that exam, where you want to go, at least most persons. Yeah. They think, I want to go to this school and whatever. We have this perception that in Barbados that this school is better than the other school and all kinds of things. So people have these expectations, and especially parents sometimes put these huge expectations on children that sometimes the children can't live up to, which creates a lot of anxiety as well. You want to manage those expectations and those kind of thoughts. Mm-hmm. So in a situation like this, you're waiting on a result. You might think you didn't do as good as you thought you would. And sometimes that's not true. Some people worry when they get by the result. They did a lot better than they thought they did. But it's that anxiety. So some person's mind go to that worst case scenario. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't do as good. I'm not going to get into school. And they start thinking my life is over. But that's not true. You would think, okay, you tell people avoid going to that scenario. But I actually don't do that in my practice. I say to people, so what's the worst that could happen? And we play it out. Right. And how things could end and how you would cope with it and how you would manage it so that they can see that, there is life after that and there's still options. Mm-hmm. Not everybody out there is going to be academically inclined. That's the other thing. You have to recognize persons for the other skills that they have. So other persons have different skill sets other than maths and English. And I guess that's why there's so much talk, and has been so much talk for years around changing this exam and so on, and how we assign persons to schools. Mm-hmm. Because you don't want your child, as a parent, you don't want to make your child think that their only value and worth comes from an exam result. Their value and worth goes way beyond that. So you have to reinforce that in your child. you did your best, and no matter how you do, I'm still going to love you. You're still going to be able to have, a future. You can still be successful in whatever area you pursue. I'm going to support you in it. So
Right.
that's the approach that you should be taking.
Dr. Joyce, so this is a relationship. The child is anxious, fine, I get that. But I'm anxious too. You're telling me, talk to my child, trying to get my child to understand and to just be calm. But all the while inside of me is raging because I am also uncertain as to what to expect. So in managing my emotions, who do I talk to? Who will help me say, you know what, rather than show this anxiety to the child, let me talk it out with someone so that I show the child a more confident, calm exterior.
Well, that's what I was saying. The first thing, as you said, you got to manage your own anxiety. So you can talk to a trusted friend, someone you know that would be grounding for you. Not someone who's going to increase your anxiety. Let's say another parent who's just as anxious as you. That might not be the best idea. So you want to talk to somebody who's more calm and grounded. Maybe somebody who was the parent of a child who went to secondary school like a couple of years before, or maybe your own parent
Right.
who went through that experience, and get advice. How did they cope with it? How did they go through it? But make sure, as I said, the person you choose to talk to is someone who's going to be a person who's calm and grounding for you, and not someone who's going to increase your anxiety or tell you a lot of negative things.
Yeah,
Because
that's so
sometimes you go to
important.
your wrong people for advice.
Yeah, that is so very important. Sometimes we seek succor with those who we think are of like mind. And oftentimes that is where the damage comes because they just fester what it is we're experiencing. You need someone else who can shift your focus in just a moment and shift it to something positive because it truly is not the end of the world. And so, Dr. Sue, we'll take a break. You just sit right there for just a moment. It sounds as if the rain has halted just a moment. And we'll come right back to talk more about the anxiety people experience just as a consequence of change. Back in a moment.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solar Ray Microbiome Probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
We're looking at the moment at the anxiety surrounding post-examination change, just really and truly, as people shift from one place to another place, from one set of people to another set of people. And sometimes that change happens in the house because there's nowhere else to go. And how do we manage the environment and the dynamics in a home as well? With us is a consultant psychiatrist with a psychiatric hospital, Dr. Joyce Sue, as we continue that discussion. Remember, folks, if it happens to you, you need to pay very close attention. Dr. Sue, so here we are. The exams are over. We spoke just now about how the expectation from the exam and how we manage that while we wait on the results. The results have arrived, and now we have to deal with the reality of what was the outcome of that child's efforts at the examination. How do we talk it up or talk it down for the child so the child is not, as we say, freaking out because of their performance from the examination?
Well, the child may be disappointed, maybe they didn't do as they liked, or maybe the child may be okay because they've done exactly as they wanted to. But if that child is disappointed, you as a parent, as I said, you have to manage your emotions. You may be disappointed too, but you don't want to make that child feel as if, as I said, as if they don't have worth or value because the exam wasn't. Say, well, maybe you didn't do as well as you thought you would this time, but it does not mean that things are over. You have the opportunity to do really well at whichever school you go to. And this will be in a long line of exams. This will not be the last exam. You have a chance to prove yourself otherwise. So for parents too, I find was important too, because we have a lot of parents who have more than one child in the household. And sometimes there's this comparison. Sometimes it's a child comparing themselves to the older sibling, but sometimes the parents are doing it too openly. You have to avoid things like that. You're two children, two individuals. They can't be the same. So avoid making one feel like they're less than because one is more academically gifted than the other. That's not fair. So whatever the result is, make your child feel as if they're valued. This is not the end of the world. You can still make a success of your life.
And it's not one moment in time, as Whitney Houston's saying. It's a constant reinforcement, I suppose, where the conversation has to continue. Don't say, but I told you, as we tend to say as adults, but I told you, what are you worrying about? We already had this conversation. No, you have to do it as often as required by the child. So you have to shift somewhat and replace that negative thought with something that's far more uplifting and engaging as they prepare now to engage not just in new subjects but among new people, because sometimes that's part of the anxiety as well. I'm leaving behind those who I'd gotten to know for what felt like most of my life, and now you're asking me to take on another journey with a whole set of strangers. So how do we get that child prepared to walk into what feels to them to be the lion's den?
That can be nerve-wracking, leaving behind friends that you knew all, for your early part of your life and going on to new persons. But you have to tell them that this is an opportunity. You will meet new people. You can still try to maintain relationships with the old persons. It doesn't have to end. But you will meet new people now, new opportunities, new experiences. So make it sound like it's going to be fun instead of scary.
Yes.
So as I said, it's all about reframing how you think about things. That's appraisal-based focus. That's appraisal-focused coping. So you reframe it in your mind. Instead of seeing it as this scary situation, see it as an exciting new leg of your life. Exciting new experience where you may get to meet new people, learn new things, participate in different activities that were offered at your primary school. So this is fun, new, and exciting. And that is a different type of anxiety there. That's good anxiety when you're excited about something, correct?
Yes,
instead of that worry that you get, that fear that you get of the unknown. Because we have this basic fear. The big fear is fear of the unknown. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yes.
And a lot of people, as I say, they're going to make up things that they think might happen. But it doesn't usually go to that extreme. So you have to remember that.
Indeed. How important do you think it is that we spend time talking about the core values of who you are, the child is as a person, having spent time raising them? One would have hoped that you would have spent time teaching them some fundamentals about self and how one copes with situations. And how important do you think that it is to have that kind of a conversation now with the child as they prepare to step into a new school?
It's very important. You should have been having that conversation all along, actually, because I find a lot of times that conversation doesn't happen, and that's because some persons reach adulthood. So the parents themselves, they don't know that. Nobody had that conversation with them, and they don't have a sense of self either and what their values are. And so that then they can't pass on to the kids. But it's important to let your kids have that, build their self-esteem from young. Compliment them on the things that they're good at. You don't have to be always harping on them on the things that are weaknesses. You want to correct them where possible. But you also want to balance that by emphasizing the positive things so that they know, as I said, where their skills are, what their value is, and so that they don't attach their value to a particular thing or performance or something like that. So that's very important to reinforce, especially at this stage, because when they go into the secondary school situation, as you know, the level of temptations to get into all kinds of things changes.
You got that.
If that child has a good sense of self and grounding, they can be led astray by peers at that level.
Yeah. Parenting is not a yesterday thing and then it's done. You have to do this every single day. I think for me, socialization is absolutely critical. It is important that you allow your child to be exposed, whether it is that you take them with you on a Saturday or weekend, wherever it is, into other spaces so they begin to socialize themselves in such a way and acclimatize themselves to engaging with new experiences and new people. And if we do that more often as the child is growing up, then the child is, to my mind, a whole lot more prepared for that kind of transition from one set of people to the other set of people, because they now know how to cope. Do you think that is as an important in parenting today, so that we prepare the next generation for this time next year?
I think it is, and it's ironic that you said that, because I remember having a conversation with someone recently about persons whose children, take their children to multiple destinations, meaning they move from country to country, they move around. Mm-hmm. And the person was saying, I think that could be damaging. I said, well, actually, some kids, they benefit a lot from that, because they learn from early how to adapt to new spaces, learn new cultures, interact with different people, get different perspectives. So sometimes that is good for the child in terms of managing change. Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is quite correct. And that's why, too, when we had COVID, it was so damaging, because that aspect of socialization was taken away from kids, because you had to be attending the online school. So they weren't interacting with each other. And that's very important. You learn social cues, meaning you learn if somebody says something that is not necessarily always what they say that they mean, because you learn how to read body language.
Yes.
You can't necessarily do that unless you're interacting with persons. And there's some conditions where people have a lot of problems reading social cues, and because of that, they can't fit into social spaces. So this is very important for children to learn at this stage, how to recognize emotions in other persons, how to, show empathy, that kind of thing. That's only learned through socialization.
The child from the country versus the child from town. That still is happening in Barbados, where people tend to think, when you're from town, that, the child from the country is so vastly different. And so sometimes one takes on an inferiority complex when that happens if you're from the country. Let's talk a little about that transition and the anxiety that the child from the country might have. I see you smiling, simply because of that reality.
No, I'm smiling because I'm the child from the country.
Me
so
too.
I was going to tell you, careful. But yes, it happens. When I was at school, I used to get, when the school bus came to go to St. Lucie.
Yes.
I used to get teased, you're going to St. Lucia, that's a whole other country down there. But to tell you the truth, for me, it was all in good fun. I didn't really take it on. I didn't take it to heart. But yes, there is that perception. You come from country, you're a country bumpkin, you don't know as much. But that's not true. As I say, if you teach your child to know their worth from early, when they get into that situation, they will take it like me, like a joke.
Yes.
And then we'll roll off. Yeah, you're going to take it on. So that's what you have to do. Build your child's self-esteem from early, so that when they reach these kind of obstacles and criticism, they'll realize that there's no grounding in truth in this, and that does not affect your sense of self. There was a child that I saw in clinic on Friday, and I love this little boy. The little boy, he's experiencing a lot of bullying at school. Yes. And children saying they think that he's soft and so on, because he doesn't fight back and so on. And he said to me, and I loved it, I am not going to change for anybody. I like who I am.
Nice.
Powerful.
Yes.
So yes. I'm just surprised to hear that coming from one so young, because he's in primary school. But those are powerful words. He said, I like who I am. I am not changing for anyone.
And so, and that is so important. So children don't have to change for anyone, but you need to be able to be adaptable to situations as situations occur. This is life. This is not a game. And so I want you to take seriously what we've been sharing all day today about change and the anxiety that could occur as a consequence of change, and to begin to process. See your self-worth. See your worth as being something of great value that you ought not to be ashamed of. But also see your self-worth saying to you that you have a spine that you can stand up to fight against anything that comes against you. You have parents to lean on. And parents, you have a responsibility as well as the child awaits results, not to make them panic. Perhaps use this as an opportunity to talk them through the transition, to share with them through your own experience as well, to take them out to different spaces and places so that they can see for themselves how people their age are interacting as well, or slightly older. And so this is a critical time as we all prepare for the transition post-examination. So we have a lot of work to do as a society. Dr. Joy Sue, I thank you, as always, for joining us, for sharing, as I keep telling you at the beginning, sage advice as we manage the transitions and the anxiety surrounding these transitions post-education, examination. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
So did I. Thank you too, indeed. Morning Barbados takes a break here. We're coming back in just a moment. Hello, hello.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
27 minutes now to go to 7 o'clock. We are in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. I'm joined by two of my favorite people on earth, I dare say. Dawn Lovell, who is herself the Training and Development Specialist, and next to her is the past president of HERMAB. Is that your school tie?
It is.
Nicholas, why you wear your school tie?
Because I went into my wardrobe and I saw it and it was like, I haven't worn it in forever, and I guess it goes back with these shirts. So I was like, why not wear it?
I looked across at you just stopped me for saying, Dawn. That Nicholas is wearing his school. You see, Nicholas is a proud product of the St. Michael's School.
Correct, yes.
All right.
Yes.
I'm glad for you.
Me too.
Dawn, you should have worn yours too, right?
I should have.
Maybe you should have sent the
Rapping
memo.
QC up in here, you know?
Yes, indeed. Can you just stop me for surprise?
I rap St. Michael tea, that for me, but yes, this is my school time.
Okay, good for you. Keep breathing, indeed. Folks, today we're talking about the fundamentals of change management. And I know it sounds like a lot of words, and you ask yourself sometimes, but what is change management? What is it about managing change that we need to pay critical attention to? You just do it as it happens. And so these goodly folks have all the answers, I believe. They have some good tips indeed. And so let's look at it. Let's look first at the definition of change management. Dawn, this is part of what you do. What is change management?
Managing change.
Simple so.
Yes, and many people, as you said, think that change just happens. And, change is always there. Everything, things will change. The problem is that many times we just expect it to happen. You have to manage change. You have to be able to see what the effects of change are going to be. You have to inform people of change. You have to make sure they have the right tools and skill sets that are necessary for the change to be effective and to be sustainable. So you have to manage change.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, Nicholas, that change happens because we're forced to change, and sometimes the change happens because we planned the change. And so as a business organization watching today and sitting from an HR perspective, talk to me a little bit about how we recognize when the time is right to change.
I think there's a quote that the only thing constant in life is change. And far too often, organizations forget people when it comes to change management. And the change management, at the heart of change management is people. Usually when organizations are going through change, whether voluntary or involuntary, they think about the process, they think about systems, they think about how we can make the organization better. The organization is a sum of its parts, and the sum of its parts are its people. and you have to bring the people along the journey. So to Dawn's point, people need to be aware of the change. They need to have a desire for the change, and if they don't have a desire for the change, how do you create that desire within the environment, within the organization? They need to have the knowledge and the tools to get ready for the change. They have to have the ability to adapt to the change that has been thrusted upon them, and the change has to be reinforced. So it's not a situation where change happens within the organization. You prepare your people for change, and a year or a month down the line you forget about it and you think that it sticks. No, it is something that is iterative, it is something that is cyclical. You need to stick with it, you need to reinforce the change within the organization, or people will revert to what they know or what they feel comfortable with. So the big part about change management is reinforcement. When you go through what I describe is called the ADKAR model, and there are many different models that are used with change management, but we within the Caribbean and the wider world use the ProSci model, which is the ADKAR model. And once again, if you don't reinforce the change throughout the ADKAR model, the change will not stick and it will not be sustainable within an organization.
What is the model called?
ADKAR. The acronym is ADKAR.
Got you.
Yeah.
ADKAR. So for a lot of organizations, that might very well be the first time they've heard about this. And so this is a model that can help you manage your change and understand why change is so critical, because if you don't change, sometimes your business will close.
Correct.
If you don't change, it might not close, but you will see yourself in some very rocky times. So sometimes the change is thrust upon you, and sometimes you just think simply for survival mode, and because you really have a lofty goal you're trying to achieve, change is critical now. But people have to be brought along with the whole process. And so it starts with, to my mind, Dawn, first defining what that change is and will look like. The outcome, if you don't have that vision, you're lost.
Yes, and that's why this framework is so very important. As Nicholas alluded to, awareness. So there must be awareness, first of all, that change is necessary. That's very important, and I always talk to people about communicating. Communication is such a big part of any successful relationship organization. If you do not communicate the necessity for change, if you do not communicate the benefits as well, because people want to know, how is this going to help me? Because I've been comfortable doing what I've been doing. I've been getting my paycheck. I'm okay. You know, if this changes now, how does this impact me? How does it impact my team, the work that I'm doing? And they need to understand that. So you need the buy-in of those people, and you need to be able to communicate what is going to be that improvement. What is it going to look like? So you need to give that vision to those people. You need to communicate it. And then once you get their buy-in, then it's easier. You know, it's not necessarily easy, but it's a little easier for them now to actually accept that we do need to change this or that, this system, this process, whatever is necessary for this organization and for us as a team. Because again, it's not just the organization are the people. So for us, this elevates us, this improves what we're doing. You know, this helps you get more money, this, you know, all these different things. So you have to be able to communicate it in a way that's relatable to them and what they're doing.
Cheese or bread. Stop reading my mind. Because, you know, what we often tend to do, I think, is talk at. We have to change. Team, we have to change. Team, this is what's going on. We must change. And nobody stopped for just a moment to listen to those who are hearing that message. And so we thought that communication was just one way.
No.
I'm telling you we need to change. And it's for your survival. It's for your good. You want to be paid, don't you? And so this guilt hits you for 6 and you find yourself succumbing to that request without realizing that that's not necessarily the healthiest way, right, Nicholas?
You're correct, but you also tapped into something when it comes to humans. There's something called situational leadership in terms of you need to understand the type of people on your team. So to your point, there are some people that fear is a motivator. A leader will come and say, you know, we need to change because of this, the business will shut down. And that will shock some people, and people will say, okay, we need to change. And then there are some people that will retreat and be like, well, in Belgian parlance, I don't care, you can shut down the business. But then there are others that, to Dawn's point, you need to understand why are we changing and bring them along the journey and show them the benefits of the change. So you need to understand the people on your team and the wider organization, what motivates them, what demotivates them, and link that to the change process and the change journey, because change is a journey. We always want, like I said earlier, it's iterative. Because I am receptive to the change or I'm hesitant of the change from the beginning, does not mean that that is where it will be at the end of the map, the road map. So you need to work and see where people are at.
So time is a factor, Dawn. Time. And I don't mean Tim as when you communicate the change, but how much time in that process of communicating and engaging is critical.
Yes, and I believe that you have to sometimes, because of like COVID, when COVID hit, it was that, you know, some companies, they had to pivot immediately. And again, as to Nicholas's point, we have to understand the people on our team. Yes, time is necessary. Some people will adapt quickly, others may not. Are you willing to give grace to allow those people to, you know, gradually come into that change? So you have to know your team. Communication, Pearson, communication is so very important, because if I say to Nicholas, okay, and I know Nicholas is one that, you know, immediately he's going to grab hold of this because he sees the benefits and he's good. Yes. But you, Pearson, I may need to give a little more hand holding. And many people say, you know, well, I don't have time to hold hands and organize it. We got work to do.
Take care about people.
Maybe I can pair you with him, because maybe you might have that way that he can relate to you to help you along that process. So we have to be able to look at this. It's not just a immediate thing. It has to be sustainable. It will take time. Recognize that and reward as you go along. So as I said, the reinforcement is necessary, but I also believe in rewarding the change and the advancements that have been made along the way. That's very important.
When does that part of the process of change stop? Because I can be communicating till the very end, or should I at some point say, all right, as of the 15th of June, you should have it, or else? Can I also take that position, Nicholas, as a leader?
You can.
You can.
And to Don's point, going back to come forward, there's something called a change agent. So you use people within your organization that are ready for the change, receptive to the change, to bring along those people that are not receptive to it. Sometimes we call them change agents or change evangelists. But to your point, sometimes in organizations we need to make difficult decisions that there are some people, no matter how many times you communicate with them, how much information you give them, how much time you give them to come along, they're never going to come along with you. And you said, you know, this is the direction the organization is going in. You need to come with us because of XYZ, but they just don't want to. And sometimes, unfortunately, you have to leave those people behind. That is the reality of the situation. So you within your organization, and you as a leader and business leaders, need to understand you have to give people the grace and time, like Don said. But if it is that they're not coming along, then understand that, you know, by X amount of time, we've given you the tools, we've given you the communication, we've worked with you, you're being resistant, you're being a blockage to change within the organization, and you're doing more harm than good, so we may have to leave you behind because the organization has to go in this direction. Unfortunately, sometimes that is the stance that you have to take.
The giving of the tools is the part I want to look at when we take this break. After we take this break, we'll be right back to talk more about the fundamentals of change management.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports, and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturday.
Morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're talking HR with Hermab today, looking at the fundamentals of change management indeed. And so we're looking at the ADKAR method, as a matter of fact, ADKAR. We looked at the awareness and the desire. So having shared why we have to change, why change is so critical now, and also making you aware of if we don't change, what could possibly happen, and then allowing you to feedback and to create that desire for change. And we move on now to what we just spoke about, Nicholas, which was the tools to be able to proceed thereafter, which is for me the knowledge, which is part of the ADKAR. So as it relates to that, having agreed, team and management, that we're going to make this change together, what happens next in terms of knowledge?
You point it out there. You give the knowledge in terms of this is why we are doing this change.
Right, okay.
As Dawn mentioned, you cannot communicate enough. Sometimes in organizations, you have to meet people, not sometimes, all of the time, you need to meet people where they're at. So whether it's a case, there are some people that will read emails, there are some people that you need to print out information and stick it around the organization. There are some people that you need to hold informational sessions, whether they're face-to-face or webinars or whatever the case may be, but giving the knowledge about why this change is successful. And then the next part of it is giving the requisite training. So if it is that we're changing a system or some type of software within the organization, especially if there's software that is institutional to the organization, it's a piece of software that one person within the organization designed, and people are attached to this software, and we're moving to a new system. We need to show people why we're moving to this new system and what are the benefits of the new system, and train them. And like I said, it's not a case where I train you in January 2025 and then in December 2025 I think, oh, I've given you the training and I've given you the knowledge and the information, you need to stick with it. No, you need to, training needs to keep happening and occurring, you need to keep communicating, and you need to phase out the old system and stop people from having a medium or a way to utilize the old system, and in a sense force them gently, but force them to use the system. So all of that to say that you have to give the information, both the tools and the knowledge to get people to come along on this change journey, because that is what it is, a journey.
And so Dawn, sometimes on this journey when it comes to training, we tend to think, you know what, let Nicholas train Dawn. Nicholas gets it faster and we go from there. Is that necessarily the safest method, or should we take them off site and have a stranger, so to speak, do the training?
Not necessarily. It depends. Again, Nicholas may be the one, because he's working with me. I know him. We have a relationship. He may be able to train me in a way that I can understand. Obviously, if he's working within that environment as well, he's probably one of the better people to train once he has the full knowledge and understanding of the system. Now, on another hand, Nicholas may not be a good trainer, because Nicholas may be one of those persons that said, I got it quickly, like, Dawn, you just need to get it.
Yes.
So you have to determine those change agents, those people that have the ability to transfer information competently, and therefore also bring me along with them and say, okay, I'll sit with you, Dawn. You know, I'll give you this, you know, do that, I'll come back, I'll look at it. So you have to determine. Other times you may need an expert to come in and have that general training. But initially it's two-part as far as I'm concerned, because inside you need to have those people on the inside. Because when that person is gone, then who do I look to? I need Nicholas to help me. So we have to make it, you know, a communal thing. You know, people are creatures of habit. And as Nicholas said, many times, because I know this old system, I stick into this old system. This works for me. So we have to gently, but forcefully, because we don't want to be here forever, forcefully show them this is how it is. It may be a little challenging before because it's new. And Nicholas is going to help me now get over that learning curve, because sometimes it can be steep. But if I have someone there in the journey with me, it makes it easier. So I think it's two-part, and you have to know your organization. You really have to. That's why it's important for leaders to know their people, for team leaders to know their people, because you know what works best for your team or your people. And that's important.
You know, Nicholas, because you're in HR and you do HR, there are oftentimes bosses who think marketing and training just money I'm throwing on a well, you know, so why should I put expense to that? What message would you share in the understanding of this process about the knowledge skills of your workers and why training is so critical?
You see it in the culture of the organization, and I've said it here and I will say it until I start coming on Mornin Barbados. Culture is not giving people pizza or cookies. Culture is what you live and you breathe within an organization. When you walk into an organization, whether it is that you're a client, a customer, the boss, and you can feel the temperature within the organization, the way how things are done, the way how people speak to each other, the way how people communicate, how effective the organization is, all of that speaks to the culture of the organization. So bring it back home to your question, how effective are we as an organization? So yes, it is that we may be, because sometimes organizations don't change because they're meeting profit or they're meeting the bottom line at the end of the year. But when you peel back the layers of the onion, there's so much toxicity within the organization in terms of people are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, leaders are not communicating, sometimes people are stealing from the organization, but the organization meets bottom line at the end of the financial year or the fiscal year, so there's no need for change. And then when things start to break down, that is when organizations rush to change. Organizations that are proactive look and see, yes, this is working, this is not working, but yet still we could be better. Organizations that constantly strive for greatness, people that constantly strive for greatness, are the organizations that are successful. So I think the culture of the organization shows how successful it is, whether it is going through change or not. And once again, change isn't something that has to be identified. It could be something in terms of, we're in a new month. How is it that, that we're looking to do things better? Something as simple as that. How is it that I am, as a leader, I'm trying to communicate better with my team? Those are simple things in terms of change, and how am I managing them on a day-to-day to month-to-month basis? So I think the culture within the organization shows how successful it is at meeting change management or doing change management, and also in terms of meeting the needs or the business mandate. Because you're making profit at the end of the year does not necessarily mean that you're a successful business. You may be a financially viable business, but it does not mean that you're a business that is working optimally.
Mm-hmm. Remember, folks, it's a cycle. Mm-hmm. Because having the awareness and the desire and the knowledge, through training as well, training doesn't end there. There's follow-up, there's renewal of the training, there are all sorts of things. So it doesn't say, okay, I've sent you in the month of June to training, you had it. That's the end of it. I expect, therefore, you're geniuses for the rest of your life. Sometimes you just need to retool and refresh and that kind of thing, one. And two, you need to monitor. Because having spent the money for the training and to see the change in my business happen, and I'm not getting the returns quite the way I thought it ought to have been, that in itself can daunt the success of a company. So all that's important. What's the A for in ADKAR?
Awareness.
Awareness. And how does that fit into change management? Awareness of what?
Awareness, bringing awareness that this is why we're changing, this is why we need to change. So awareness is the very first step so we're on to the second.
Okay. Come on, man. You're spelling ability. Ability.
So good. Ability is having the tools and the knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, so the tools and knowledge is part of the training.
Right.
So yeah, so I've given you the knowledge, but now you have the ability to get ready for change. And once again, having the ability does not necessarily mean that you are ready or for the change, but it means that we've given you the tools up until this point. So we're easing you into the process in terms of we've given you training, we've given you the information, this is what you need to do in order for this change to be successful, and by extension the business or the organization or the team to be successful. Yeah.
You've got to walk the floor, folks. You've got to walk the floor just to check in. And R?
Reinforcement. Reinforcement.
From who? By who?
Everyone.
Everyone. And this is why, you see what I like, Nicholas? This is why I like you too, Pearson.
Bless you.
Because training, back to training, is so important. Training, it has to be reinforced. That information, that knowledge, that awareness, that communication, all of these tools and everything you've given them, no, you need to reinforce. Again, people are creatures of habit. So we need to be able to see how effective is this right now, after we've done all we need to do, how effective is this? And we also need that reinforcement, first from the top, from leaders right down. Okay, we're reinforcing this, not meaning I'm coming over you now, I've given you everything that you need, so let's make sure this happens. No. How is this working? Let's start to measure, put some markers in place. This is how I know that this is actually, we have some markers. This is how I know this is happening. This is where the effects that I'm seeing. These are the things I expect to see by this particular time. And you use those markers and you continue to reinforce. It's like a child, when they're trying to walk, they're learning their ABCs, they go to school, they don't come home the first day and we're like, yes, mommy, I know A to Z. No, it's not. You teach that child over time. Eventually, it becomes a part of them. At this age, I'm sure we don't need nobody to tell us our ABCs, do we? We can repeat it because...
What comes after Z? Just kidding. Go ahead.
They're always trying to throw me a curveball. But reinforcement for any and everything in life, if you do not reinforce, then what you used to do will become just a part of you that you used to do. You will revert back because it's like a default system. So this has to become your new default. And for that to happen, reinforcement must happen from the top right down.
Does recognition play a role in this R as well in terms of reinforcement?
I believe so.
Oh, definitely.
I believe so.
Definitely.
Yeah,
And this is where those
incentive.
change evangelists will be absolutely critical in the whole process as well.
Yes.
You know, because, and it's not a case of, oh, I'm the guard watching you to make sure you get it right, because there'll be time of slippage. This happens, we're humans. And so we will fail a little bit, but you know, it's like to encourage me to get back up and get going again, because I know it. I know how to step forward.
Yes.
And so that's the role of those change evangelists. I just like that term real bad, Nicholas. Those change makers, those change evangelists in each organization who will help the other person become better and better at what they're doing, because the change is absolutely important. Now, we've taken the time to break this down in the way that we have, because there's something happening, Nicholas, through HERMAB.
Yes, so one of our past presidents, Ambassador Joan Underwood, one of your favorite people, she's hosting a session on change management. As you know, Joan is a boss when it comes to talent management and organizational development.
Yes.
So she's holding a webinar next week on the
19th.
The 19th.
Monday.
So if you need more information, you can log on to our website, www.hermab.org.bb, and you can register. The early bird fee has ended, but yes, but if you log on, if anything, you can see the price there, and you will be able to register for this session. It will be an hour and a half via Zoom, and if anything, we will record it for persons that can't access it, and it will be available at a fee during dissemination if you can't join. But it will be an informative session, and it will give you more in-depth information in terms of everything that we've covered here. Joan will go through all elements of the ADCAR model. How is it that you can apply it not only to your organization, but to your life? Because once again, change is constant. And yes, we often talk about change because we're HR professionals and practitioners, but how can you apply this to yourself as a person, as a human being going through life, navigating the everyday change of life? So it will be a very informative session.
You're quite right.
And also, there's going to be, I think, 1.25 credits for persons that are recertifying in HR. So there's that available, and it's a nominal fee. Nominal fee. So I encourage everybody to take advantage of this. It's going to be fantastic.
hermab.org.bb, HRMAB.org.bb. I know when I say it like that, it just sounds strange in your ears, right? hermab.org.bb. Log in, log on. And Nicholas hit the point, you know, and that's why I love these sessions so much, because I take the processes and I apply it to myself, my everyday interaction. And I think it is important as a family, as a set of people, you don't just listen and say, oh, well, that sounds great, but apply what we've shared with you to you and how you interact with another person. Then you see how you can take that into the office and make a big difference. Your little stone will ripple, and more people will catch it as well as it goes. So change is critical. Change management is fundamental. And so people are at the center of all of that change indeed. And so the level of communication and awareness has to be brought to the change is vital. So leaders of businesses, don't sit by and think, well, I've done my part. No, you haven't, because you haven't brought them along. You haven't been there to reinforce it with them. You have not modeled the path that you want them to take indeed. And so all of this is absolutely critical. That's why you need to go to hermab.org.bb and log in and check it out. Joan will help you through. You know, Joan is a very gentle soul, so she'll guide you through it, hold your hand, and make sure by the end of it all that you have it. And it's going to be interactive, but it's all on Monday. But you need to log in and register right now. Dawn and Nicholas, I feel full right now.
We're your favorite people, remember?
Yes, yes. So you didn't starve me. I love it. I love it. Thank you very, very much indeed for talking with me today.
Thank you.
You're welcome. As always, HERMAB, Talk HR with HERMAB. Every time we get a chance to, we get all full indeed. And remember, membership brings benefits. We're taking a break. We're coming back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.tv, and together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer,
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's take a look at news now. Attorney at law Michael Lashley is making a strong case for changes to the treatment of people charged with certain offences. The leading criminal defence attorney is speaking out after securing a not guilty verdict for his client, Member of Parliament Neil Rowe, who was facing a charge of rape. Crystal Hoyt reports.
Less than a week after the conclusion of one of the most closely watched criminal cases in recent times, attorney at law Michael Lashley, who represented Member of Parliament Neil Rowe, is calling for reform regarding sexual assault cases. He specifically wants the practice of publicly naming the accused to stop.
The same way how you can protect the identity of the virtue complainant, you should protect the identity of the accused. And I think that identity should come after the jury bring back their verdict. You know, small societies like Barbados, when you become accused of a sexual offense, be it indecent assault, be it rape, and that it's covered in the paper. So your name is plastered all over the paper, whether the case take 2 weeks, a week, 3 days, or 4 days. And you're vilified by the public.
When asked whether Mr. Rowe intends to pursue any legal action following the case, Lashley says he is awaiting instructions from his client, but will also be sending pre-action protocol letters to start the process.
Malicious prosecution is where, of course, you believe that the police basically brought a charge or trump up a charge against you where there's no evidence. But I must say that any malicious prosecution matter. It is very high standard, and the case law says it's a very high standard. But, of course, we would seek to pursue.
The well-known criminal lawyer is also advocating for more timely use of DNA evidence in such investigations.
It troubles me that you proffer the charge on the accused person, and the DNA comes after the charge, and the DNA results and say, look, your client or my client is really not connected. There's no scientific evidence linking the accused to the crime, but yet the person is charged.
He also highlighted the speed at which this particular case was handled, saying it reflects how efficiently a rape case can be managed when the system works as it should.
It says that it can be done. I must say that my client wanted his day in court, and so we pushed for it. We wrote letters with pretrial disclosures. We kept noise in court for the pretrial statements, and the police worked efficiently and gave it. In fact, I must say that this is one of the really one of the quickest thing that I had received pretrial disclosures in the matter. And I don't know if because of who was involved, but we pushed for it because we felt that our client must have his day in court, that the social media experts must not find him guilty before he get his day in court.
Mr. Lashley believes a separate court should handle sexual offences cases. Crystal Hoyt, CBC News.
$400 million have been provided to Barbadians since the introduction of the Student Revolving Loan Fund. Minister of Training and Tertiary Education, Sandra Husbands, says some 15,000 loans were approved to Barbadians over the 48 years. She described the sum as a significant investment in Barbadians.
We are empowering people who do not have the means to pursue other courses of study not accommodated domestically, to enable them to be able to pursue their dreams and therefore maximize their talent. And I want to sincerely congratulate the entity, the SRLF, for having been able to achieve that. Now, over the time, it had to keep responding and changing to the changing conditions, the needs, the desires of Barbadians and the changing environmental conditions. And so one of the changes that we would have seen over time was the fact that more and more people were studying part-time. Initially, this was really for full-time students.
Well, leader of the opposition Democratic Labour Party, Ralph Thorne, in his contribution to the debate, called attention to the number of primary and secondary school students who he says do not attend school on a daily basis. He attributed the situation to various factors.
You can establish these beautiful institutions, including the Loan Fund, which is a noble and beautiful institution, but let the government reduce itself now to contact with the ordinary people in this country. Let the government reduce its contact to those who suffer. Let the government reduce its contact to the poor in this country, whose children are absenting themselves from school because the parents do not have enough money to give them breakfast, to give them lunch money.
To sports now, the top national female cyclist Amber Joseph has reverted her focus to the sprint events as she continues to represent the island on the international stage. She spoke in an exclusive interview with Anne-Marie Burke and revealed that 2025 is looking quite different for her on the competitive stage.
Over the past 8 years, Amber Joseph has solely carried the mantle of Barbados' representation on the elite female international track cycling circuit, competing all across the world. While her focus was on the Endurance Omnium event, 2025 has seen her return to the event she loves, sprint, which includes the track sprint, keyring, and newly added kilo races. You could almost say her career has now come full circle, back to where she started when she first moved to the UK back in 2013. But one might ask, what was the true turning point?
After not qualifying for Paris, which was a hard time for me to try and find back the fire in my why of like why I'm doing this and the love. I took some time and I felt like it was the right change to do what I loved again, which was sprint. And I knew I'd be starting from the bottom and it will be a long journey, but it's a journey that I'm gonna love the training. I'm gonna enjoy getting on my bike, doing all my sessions, training in the gym. Like they're all things that I love. I don't like having to go and ride 4 hours every day on my own because that's not fun on your own. Some people love that. That's just not me. So the training is very, very suited to what I like and I love training. The training as a sprinter. So that's why it felt right to finally pick my happiness. And after, I feel like everything will follow after that. Once you choose you and you do what you love and what you enjoy doing, you're sure to excel.
Of course, this means that Amber's training has to be tailored to suit her renewed fire for the intensity, speed, and explosive power of sprinting. And she has been seeking guidance from coaches in and around her cycling circles. But she also has a greater training focus in mind. Amber is ready to sprint her way to cycling glory for Barbados.
That's news until now. We'll have more news right here on TV8 at 12 noon. Morning Barbados takes a break. We're back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Ministry of Youth Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8. Don't you miss it.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV 8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about Solaray microbiome probiotics and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Week after week, Scold presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow, mobility and tourism, health news, highlights from art and culture. Each contribution grabs the viewer with extraordinary images and stories and takes him into fascinating worlds which he experiences here exclusively and up close. We're there when companies and specialists develop super satellites for a global network in space and can look behind the scenes. Scold is a window to everything that is there or is yet to come. Fly with us through time to better understand today and tomorrow. You've always wanted that. Scold, a look into the future.
Our world today is not the world God wants it to be. One of the reasons which will surprise many.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're 12 minutes after 7 o'clock on this wonderful Wednesday morning indeed. And so I'll take a different approach now with our riddles. You call me, I'll give you a riddle. If you think you're a really good riddler, be bold. Call me right now. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Be bold as brass and call me now and let me know I want a riddle person. I think I can beat you at riddles, and I dare you. I really truly dare you, because I think it's almost impossible. So prove me wrong. Call me on 228-5562 and 228-5563 and let's see how you go. Let's see how brilliant you are to be able to, on the spot, come up with the correct answer to a riddle that I have. And I think I have all simple riddles. You all seem to prove that to me. All of my riddles seem to be easy. So don't be afraid. Call me. 228-5562 or 228-5563 and just ask for a riddle. I promise you, I shall give you one that you can answer. I do promise, for real. Even though I'm smiling and smirking, I promise you I'll make it easy on you, for real, if you know me well enough. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me right now and let me know you take my challenge. Take the riddle challenge right now. Scared, nah? You're frightened, nah? Because for the very first time, you don't have an opportunity to go somewhere else in search of your answer. So all of you who thought, oh, I thought of it myself, Pearson. I thought I sat down, I worked it out. Yeah, right. 228-5562 or 228-5563. If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. If I am right, your silence says a lot. 228-5562 or 228-5563. Call me and challenge me, because I'd love to challenge you. So when you call, I'll give you the riddle, and then you give me the answer right there, right away. We have a call. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, who's calling?
Christopher.
I can barely hear you.
I'm Christopher.
Is this the Christopher I know?
Yes.
Chris, how are you this morning? Good morning.
Good morning.
This is my godson, by the way. This is my godson, Christopher. And so, are you excited about school today, Chris?
Yes. I'm very excited.
Do you have football today?
I'm supposed to. I'm not sure, but I'm supposed to.
Yeah, because it's with all the rain, you may not have your football today, right?
Yeah.
My Chris, I have to look for a real easy one now because it's you. Cheese or bread. Okay, I still ask you, Chris, all right?
All right.
If you get it wrong, it is okay. By the way, is it raining right now where you are?
Pardon me?
Is it raining right now where you are?
No, it's not.
It's raining here. It just started to rain. All right, Chris, listen carefully. Listen very carefully. I shall say this only once.
Okay.
Turn me on my side, and I am everything. Cut me in half, and I am nothing. What am I? Let me ask it again. Turn me on my side, and I am everything. Cut me in half. What happened? Oh dear. Something would have happened there. Christopher will never put the phone down in my ear, so something would have happened there. That's my godson. That is my godson. That is my godson, Christopher. Christopher Anderson Birch is his name. And so call me back. Call me back, Chris. I know you can handle this. In the meantime, we'll look for an easy one for you too. And so anyone else who thinks that they can beat me at this, call me right now. Call me right now. 228-5562 or 228-556. I don't know what happened with Christopher's. Maybe he accidentally pressed one of the buttons on the phone. But 228-5562 or 228-5563. No, I might change my question. Call me and let me know. It's raining. Oh, the sound of rain on galvanized is a beautiful sound. I'm sure for a lot of you, that's what you've been experiencing over the past few days. The sound of rain on your roofs, on your pavements, on your window pane, a little sprinkle while you're on the bed. Good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you, sir?
I'm good.
Oh, good. Who's calling? What's your name?
Kevin.
Hi, Kevin. Where are you watching from, Kevin?
St. George.
St. George. Is it raining at the moment?
Yes, please.
Oh, lovely, lovely rain. Does rain bother you? Do you like the rain like I do?
Not too much rain.
Kevin, could you turn off the volume on your television? I don't want you to be distracted at all. Okay?
All right.
So
all right.
I'll give you a second to turn it off. Use the remote. All right, Kevin is walking towards the television. All right. Kev?
Lovely, lovely rain.
All right. I'm waiting patiently on you, Kevin, because I'm ready to stump you. Ready to stump you. All of you think you're so smart, right? Though you'll see Pierce is perhaps a little smarter. 228-5562 or 63. The numbers are there on your screen to call. Kevin, your house is large.
Hello?
Kevin, you've not moved to your television? Okay, there it is now. Okay, Kevin, do you think you can answer correctly the question I'm going to give to you?
Yes, please.
Oh, all right. Here's your question, Kevin. First, I am dried, then I am wet. The longer I swim, the more taste you get. What am I? Let me ask again. First, I am dried, then I am wet. The longer I swim, the more taste you get. What am I, Kevin?
Wet.
Pardon me?
Wet.
Your answer is wet.
Yeah.
So, I get wet.
Yeah.
Smart, but wrong, Kevin. Thank you very much, all right? Kevin in St. George, indeed. So wrong, indeed. All right, so Kev, thanks. So that's the way we'll do this, all right, folks? Don't be afraid. I'll give the question only when you call me. All right, we're 19 minutes after 7 o'clock now. Let's go all the way to Liberia. That's where the president was. And so we'll be checking in once again with Gerald Koinene, who is the Deputy Newsroom Head at Front Page Africa. Kevin, good morning to you, Gerald.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good to see you yet again. So we are after the visit. Now, post the visit, how did it go from your news gathering perspective?
Yes, thanks for having me back. The visit of the president here in Liberia went well. The atmosphere was ecstatic. And before her visit, there was a lot of publicity. People were anticipating a lot. And when she came, those expectations were met. And the events, all of the events that were held according to our own survey, what we cover, it was well attended. And people were so happy that they were here to witness these occasions the past few days.
Were you there at the airport in Monrovia when she landed?
No, I was not on the ground, unfortunately for me, but I sent my team, and they did a live coverage, and it was live on our Facebook, and I followed it all through.
Talk to me about the impact of having the president of Barbados in Liberia for Liberians, and particularly for the settlement of Barbadians. What did you glean from all of that?
Yeah, so first, a lot of people didn't know about Barbados prior to her coming because of the information that went out, the publicity, and the live coverage that we, the local media here in Liberia, did. A lot of people now, they know that there's a country called Barbados, and it has a connection with Liberia way down here in West Africa. So that has opened that connection. More people now in Liberia, they know about Barbados and about this rich history it has with Liberia. And for the country and for the administration, the president coming to Liberia was one of the biggest political events in this administration. You know, our administration here under the current president, Bwaka, is a young administration. It came to power January last year, 2024. And President Mason is one of the first head of states to make this state visit to Liberia. So it means a lot for the government and the people. And the government has said that this visit is part of its along with its plan to reach out to the Caribbean states to establish diplomatic ties with them, and beginning with Barbados, which is of no surprise because of its connection with Liberia. And for the people of Crusoeville, it was like receiving one of their daughters home, and because by coming to Liberia, by going down there to the township of Crusoeville, she followed the footsteps of their ancestors, what they did some 160 years ago. So they were happy to receive her. We spoke with most of them. I was present. I attended the program, and they were all impressed. Most of them have said since 1960, where they witnessed the centennial, 1965, where they witnessed the centennial celebration, they have not seen anything like that. What they saw over the weekend. So it was just a great event.
Talk to me a little bit about the outcomes that you would have covered in terms of agreements reached, and what's the next step forward really between this relationship and between Liberia and Barbados?
Yeah, so the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, we have reached out to them. They have not outlined most of the agreements that were reached. They have not really released them, but what we heard and what we gathered, the speeches from President Mason, from President Bwaka, and some officials, there were a lot of agreements signed. First, President Mason announced that there's a visa waiver for Liberians who want to go to Barbados. So there's a visa waiver. That one was announced by President Mason herself, and we understood that agreements were signed to foster tourism, education, and those were what we heard, but the main detail of those agreements we have not really read them, but we understood that there were agreements signed to foster tourism and education and science, student exchange, where there will be cultural and educational exchange between the two countries.
You know, Gerald, I'm out of time, but I really want to thank you so much for, over the past few days, keeping us informed about what happened when President Mason from Barbados, as you so lovingly referred to her, from Barbados arrived in Liberia. We saw the pictures you shared, the videos you shared, and then the commentary we received from you as well. And the only thing left is to invite you, Gerald, to Barbados to experience how we live life on our 166 square miles.
Thank you. I wholeheartedly accept this invitation. I look forward to coming over to see this beautiful country that most of the Liberians, most of the crew civilians have talked about. I want to kind of experience life myself in your beautiful country. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're more than welcome indeed, but thank you. Have a great day, Gerald. That's Gerald Koinyene, who is the Deputy Newsroom Head of Front Page Africa, who's done some sterling work with us here on Morning Barbados, keeping us informed and bringing us all the pictures and the images out of that visit by the Barbados delegation led by our President, Most Excellent Dame Sandra Mason. We're taking a break here on Morning Barbados. It's 25 after 7. Back in a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8. Don't you miss it.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources. He'll give you the people. Not only will he...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Let's call it 28 minutes after 7 o'clock now. Just about 3 weeks from now, we'll all be asked to join hands and hearts and brawn and everything else to clean up Barbados. We've done this before. We shall do it again on the 7th of June. Joining us now to talk a little bit more about what to expect and to remind you why you should register is Stacey Alvarez, who is the project director of Future Center Trust, and Adrian Bowen of The Nation Publishing, who is a part of the whole management of this as well. He leads the green team. Good morning, both of you. Good to have you indeed. Start with you, Stacey. The Future Center Trust, this is not your first time doing Clean Up Barbados. This is something you guys take quite seriously.
Yes, we do.
Why?
We take it so seriously because linking it to Wellness Wednesday, it is really one of the most healthy things you can do in terms of building a community, but also protecting the environment, protecting Barbados, and protecting our health. Because when we go into those places where there's been illegally dumped materials, plastics that degrade, things that rust and get into our groundwater, we are in turn ingesting that. We're putting that into our system. So Clean Up Barbados is meant to help remove that kind of debris and definitely also to make sure that we come together as a community. So we have the physical benefits and we have the mental benefits as well.
When you do the initiative of Clean Up Barbados, are you saying less and less garbage, or are you at the point where you're saying, my gracious, they don't seem to get it?
Unfortunately, there are certain types of garbage we are seeing more and more of, but I must say that there is a sense of awareness coming through. There is a sense on the part of corporate Barbados of really coming out and helping us. And I mean, we have so many incredible sponsors who donate bags, gloves, skips, backhoes, and anyone who wants to do that, you can get in touch with us at cleanupbarbadoscampaign@gmail.com if you do want to make donations. And what we make sure we do as well is that everything that's collected is also put in the skip but then removed in a timely fashion, which is absolutely crucial. And then it goes either to be recycled or however else to be disposed of in a way that's appropriate.
Adrian, I know for you guys at The Nation, it's like a no-brainer. This is what you do.
Yes, it's
and so He says it so proudly and he show off. And, you know, you lead the green team.
Yes.
Why is it so important, do you think, that the nation and corporate entities like yourselves partner with the Future Center Trust to do this?
Yes, we launched the Green Nation team in 2021, just coming out of the pandemic. And we thought it was necessary that we not only inform and educate the public, but we also take a hands-on approach. So then we said, okay, let's partner with Future Center Trust and the Clean Up Barbados. We also do a number of projects ourselves throughout the year. We do have some recycling projects with schools. We have town hall meetings. We're going to also be leading another cleanup in September, which is World Cleanup Day. So we really want to put our hands to the plow and make a difference, because it's important that Barbadians understand why we need to keep our country clean, and we can stop it. We can bring that number down. We do see numbers every year. I've been doing this now for over 12 years as a volunteer. And we do see numbers every year. But if we make a collective effort, we can bring those numbers down, because simple things like throwing your water bottle out the window and the sweetie paper on the ground, and those simple little things, they make a difference. Actually, Science.org says that we have about 8 million metric tons of garbage going into our water every year. So it's a problem, it's a global problem. So we need to find a way to educate, inform, and agitate for change.
It's a problem caused by people. And so people are now called on to make that change, to ourselves, clean up where we are. And so Adrian used the word volunteering. Yes. And that's what we're asking people to do, to volunteer time, volunteer self, to join in the local campaign to clean up Barbados on the 7th of June.
Yes.
You suggested to us, Stacey, that if we have equipment we'd like to donate, we should send it to Clean Up Barbados campaign.
Yes, you can send an email to cleanupbarbadoscampaign@gmail.com. Yes, and then.
But if we want to send Adrian's team, the green team, or if we have the red team or the blue team or whatever teams at work, and we want to register to be a part of this campaign, how can we do so?
Sure, so you can go to our website, www.futurecentertrust.org, and it's easy. One of the first things that you'll see is how to register. And we are now at just over 1,000 strong who have registered already, and that's fantastic. That's an increase from last year. And you know, we mentioned education, and that's something that the Future Center Trust is really interested in promoting. We're looking to see if we can possibly create a kind of an educational campaign linked to Adrian's efforts at the nation, because I think that's the key to reducing what we see, reducing the amount of waste we see, is really educating children from an early age. So
that's why I asked at the beginning, don't they get it yet? Do you ever feel that way sometimes, Stacey? Honestly, don't they get it yet, that your actions are polluting our environment?
I have to say that when you actually are doing the cleanup, you see that change from whoever you're with. And it's one of the most incredible, heartening things. You see the palpable change as you're there. I said last time I was on the show, literally and figuratively in the garbage and cleaning it. You make the silent vow to yourself. You feel that shift, that you're never going to contribute to that again. And you see the same sentiment expressed in everyone around you. So I think that's crucial to education, and then linking the education to what you're actually doing in a way that's hands-on and experiential. So yeah.
Adrian, you've been a part of this, you said, for over 12 or so years now. And so talk to us about having registered and to be a volunteer to do some work, to get my hands dirty almost. What happens on the day?
On the day, we group around 6 o'clock in the morning. Before then, we would do what we call a reconnaissance of the area, decide how many people we need to have, the equipment we need to use, and so on. And then we go after it. And I've done from gullies to beaches to whatever. I bring one to point. There was last year I went in a gully in St. Thomas, and I had to climb down the gully. And then when I got down there, this is during the reconnaissance stage. When I got down the gully and I found where the garbage was being dumped, we had almost like 30 feet of garbage going up to a drop-off point. So persons would come to that drop-off point and just throw the garbage in. So when you get on the base of the gully, you look up, you see 30 feet of garbage going back up.
Wow.
So that was mind-boggling. You know, so you have to, as I say, you have to do a reconnaissance, you have to assess the situation, you have to be safe. So you got to make sure the environment is safe for people to go into. And the materials that we do have a safety officer on board this year, so the materials that we're moving is safe to move. So safety is paramount. But once we do that, we go in, we get to work, we give ourselves a timeline. So if we're going to do 3 hours, 4 hours, we try our best to get as much as we can. And as Stacey said, we try to load them into the skips and so on. And then we try to get it removed as quickly as possible, so they don't stay there then and then continue to be further garbage. Yeah.
So folks, it's work. It's work. We're not going there to have fun. Yes, we may have some fun interacting with each other, but there's work to be done. We have to clean up Barbados. And so is there an age limit that you have for those who want to volunteer?
No, there's not, and that's an incredible thing. We actually have prizes for the youngest and the oldest, and it is one of those events you see everyone, all walks of life, all ages and backgrounds coming together. And when you register, you don't have to, you can indicate where it is you'd like to clean, and if you indicate an area that's unsafe, as Adrian said, we have a safety officer, you'll be guided towards somewhere else, or you'll also be given guidelines as to how you can, you know, group up with other groups. And please, you know, we want everyone to follow us on social media as well, on Facebook and on Instagram, Clean Up Barbados, so you can see all of the fun that we do. We do have some fun.
Yeah, you know, and it's good when work has a little bit of fun mixed with it indeed. And so folks, this happens on the 7th of June. It's a Saturday morning. The sauce can wait, put it in the fridge, it'll be all right. When you're done, you have your sauce. But we want to spend a few hours bright and early in the morning on Saturday, the 7th of June, cleaning up Barbados. Bring the family, make it a family occasion, get your church groups together, to get your organizational groups together, do it as a team. Because every single effort made by every single one of you goes towards making Barbados safer and cleaner. You will not find that garbage because it's been collected now finding its way into our aquifers or into our water systems. That's why it's so important. It is very, very important. So go now, register, futurecentertrust.org. Register, indicate where you want to be, who's in your group, how many, and so forth. All the information, just fill in the form, and the team will assess and get back to you. If you have a skip, a truck, you want to lend equipment to this effort as well, just send an email to cleanupbarbadoscampaign@gmail.com, and we are thanking you for joining this effort indeed. As the Nation Group has, so too can the CBC, your organization. So we want to encourage as many of you to get in contact with the Future Center Trust. Thank you both. I have to leave it there. Stacey Alvarez, who is the project director with Future Center Trust. Adrian Boyne leads the green team, and he's one of those project leads as well. So if you see him on the street, tackle him. Adrian, but you need to talk about eyeball here. You know, tackle him in that kind of way. Get all the answers indeed. Thank you again, and all the best.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. We're back in just a moment on Morning Barbados.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Some ask, what makes Barbados so special? We at Mornin Barbados say it's you, our exceptional youth. You are talented, resilient, and inspirational. You are the epitome of the Barbadian spirit, testing the boundaries of your creativity. If you are an entrepreneur, artist, baker, designer, author, or have done anything you think should be highlighted, email us at morninbarbados@cbc.bb. Let us show the world our exceptional Bajan youth.
The Ministry of Youth, Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Tourism Youth Congress is coming up. The Tourism Youth Congress gives you a deadline of tomorrow or Friday, this coming Friday, to nominate your child to be a part of it for the Junior Tourism Minister for Barbados, who gets then an opportunity for a cash prize, to bragging rights at schools, and to travel to represent Barbados as a tourism minister, and also to have an internship with the BTMI. So what happens when they are a part of this progress, this Congress? Take a look and see.
Tourism Youth Congress Junior Minister of Tourism competition being held here at the Hilton Barbados Resort. I don't know how many of you have had the opportunity to speak to or meet all of this year's candidates, but let me tell you, I think this is one of the strongest set of contestants, competitors, candidates, whichever word to use, that we have had. So today is anybody's competition. Anybody's competition. Either, yeah, come on. Wonderful talent that we have. So as part of the preparation, the candidates would have had the opportunity to get out and explore Barbados and learn more about this beautiful island of ours. So let's take a look at the screens and see some of the adventures that the candidates would have experienced, as well as learn a little bit more about each one. Take a look.
My name is Shamarko Imi. I'm 16 years old and I am from the Lassavan School.
My name is Michaela Lowe. I'm 17. I go to the Ardis School.
My name is Jaden Gill. I'm 17 years old and I go to Harson College.
My name is Angelique Irwin. I am 16 years old. I go to school at Princess Margaret Secondary School.
My name is Michael Brewer Robertson. I'm 14 years old and I attend the Alexander School.
My name is Malika Straker. I go to the Lassavan Secondary School.
My name is Delinda Maynard and I'm 14 years old from the Princess Margaret Secondary School.
My name is Cassidy and I attend the law school. I'm 14 years old.
My name is Haley Harding. I am age 16 and I go to school at Graydon Seeley Secondary School.
The tour was actually very enlightening. I liked it a lot. I learned a lot actually, some things that I did not know, and then I brought in some things that I did know from last time. I think it's amazing to let the students go through this program as a whole, and I think it's just a very enlightening journey.
I think tours like these are important for us to experience because we learn a lot about our culture and our history, the things that drive us to where we are today. We learn a lot about where our heritage comes from and how we can build on it.
Educate, agitate, but do not violate. In other words, he didn't want any violence, but he wanted to educate people about trade unions, about their condition, and he wanted to agitate for change.
This tour was really fun. I experienced a lot and I learned a lot that I did not even know in my own country.
The reason why I joined the BTMI tourism program is because to really gain a greater understanding of tourism as a whole, and also to put forward my ideas and suggestions to the tourism industry.
I chose this program because it helps me enlighten others to know about the type of tourism that I usually learn, which is marine tourism. It helps me to also enlighten the tourists and whoever else comes to the island about the sources that can come from marine tourism and why they should help us sustain tourism as a whole on our island.
I got into this competition because I wanted to learn a little bit more about what makes Barbados money. And that being said, tourism to me is how we share our culture with tourists.
The reason I joined this program is to gain self-confidence and to get out of my shell.
Tourism for Barbados is so important so you can get a good idea of what Barbados is and who we are and where we originally come from and what we have to offer.
I have decided to join the Junior Minister competition because I think that I want to learn a bit more about tourism and the culture of Barbados.
The reason I joined the Junior Minister of Tourism program is because I want to implement my ideas and really express myself through becoming the Junior Minister of Tourism. I want to push my ideas and just leave my mark on Barbados as a whole. I believe through innovation and technology that we can promote our youths and provide stable jobs and income for them, as well as being more inclusive and avoiding exclusivity in certain points where youth tend to be left out a lot.
One of the reasons I joined this competition this year is because last year I did a competition where it was the second place finisher, but this year I'm here to support and motivate this speaker this year, Malika Straker. But something else I joined this competition for is to find out a little bit more about tourism, because Barbados is in fact one of the best tourism destinations in the world to me.
I joined this competition to widen my character as a debater and to focus on my sports speaking. I also would like to venture the world and explore tourism not only as a marketing but more to the eye.
I would be considered junior tourist minister because of my diverse ideas and what I bring that's new to the table. Overall, I have experience in Parliament, speaking in Parliament, modeling United Nations. I've experience with speeches and writing speeches, conducting speeches, etc.
I think I should be Junior Minister of Tourism because I can help others understand the impacts that come with and without tourism being present in an island, and also to help sustain what comes with an island, not just being able to just say the beaches are pretty, but also helping to admire and help the island as a whole.
I think I should be the Junior Minister of Tourism because I can bring innovative ideas to the table and push Barbados to the forefront of tourism in the Caribbean.
Why I should be chosen as Junior Minister of Tourism is because I want to learn more about my country and experience the same things tourists find attracting in Barbados.
Sure.
And also, I could also support local businesses by promoting their products.
And I want to be the Junior Minister of Tourism because of the inspiration that tourism brings, the reason that tourism was created, and the way tourism helps people with their cultures, their identity.
I think I should be Tourism Minister because I have a lot of ideas on how to promote our country for the better. I believe that through innovation for our youth, that we can develop a sustainable future going towards stakeholdership for our youth and having them gain steady jobs. And I think through the right targeted audience for advertisement, we could promote Barbados to great feats.
I should be chosen as Tourism Minister because I would like to represent Barbados as a whole. Not only as a child who now has to learn what it means to be in tourism, but hey, I can do this and I am more than what I seem on the outside. I also joined and I should be chosen, but I just joined to have fun, also meet new people.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, representing the Alexandra School, Mikhail Robertson. Representing Ellerslie Secondary School, Michaela Lowe. Representing Graydon Seeley Secondary School, Haley Hardin. Representing Harrison College, Jaden Gill. Representing Lester Vaughan, Malika Straker. And this morning, representing Princess Margaret, Delinda Maynard. I should bring it to your attention that Delinda is actually replacing Princess Margaret's Angelique Yearwood, who's not feeling well today. But every school, and you would have seen some faces that maybe are not on the stage this morning, and it's because each school would have put forward two candidates, the main candidate and then somebody who was a seconder as well. So this morning, Delinda has stepped up to represent Princess Margaret. May I have a round of applause for all of the candidates, please?
So there you have it. That's what happens at the Youth Congress. That's why your child needs by Friday to register to be a part of the upcoming Junior Minister of Tourism Congress. We're looking forward to all of your entries. We're back in just a moment.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The Ministry of Youth Sports and Community Empowerment's Bridges television series is back. Join us every Wednesday at 8 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 5:30 p.m. on CBC TV 8. Don't you miss it.
God will not give you a job. God will not call you to do something and then not give you the capacity to have it, to make it happen. He will give you the resources, he'll give you the people. Not only will he equip you with ideas, but he will equip you with favor, as he did Nehemiah.
Turn on the latest episode of Infinite Possibilities, only on CBC TV 8, every Sunday at 1:30 p.m., sponsored by Covenant Life Teaching Center.
Welcome to Nature's Discount, the ultimate health food store. At Nature's Discount, we have thousands of quality products at great prices.
Hi guys, Dottie here with Nature's Discount, and today we are talking about solar ray, microbiome, probiotics, and why you should be taking them.
And we have well over 3,000 amazing products to help you get healthy.
For your health tips, tune in to CBC TV 8 every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday for Nature's Discount, sponsored by Get Healthy Incorporated.
Week after week, Scald presents exciting reports and documentaries on the most varied topics of our time. Spectacular developments and innovations, lifestyle and trends of tomorrow.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Senior games, everybody come, all of we in there. Have some fun, senior games, yes, all of we in there. Granddaddy, we got something to do. Grand, don't fear, got something for you. Or if you're 40 and up, don't waste time, come and sign up. We got darts, tennis and chess, track and field, who gonna run the best? 5K walk and run and more. Wait, don't forget dominoes, yes. One thing I forget to mention, what? If you got any questions, 42564263, and come and really start tension. Everybody, senior game, everybody come, all of we in there. Bring the whole family, senior game, this one you can't miss, all of we in there.
Everybody indeed. We have just about 8 minutes to go, and I don't know how we'll get all this done in 8 minutes, but we'll try. The National Seniors Games are on, and of course, back with me is Itania Wiggins, who is the National Coordinator of the National Seniors Games. She's also brought along again with her Mac Fingal, who's responsible for track and field.
Again. He wish I knew about here.
Sharon Carew White, who is, of course, the lady behind the House of Soca.
Yes,
and there's a reason she's here, Mac.
Yes, the reason is that, let me tell you now, we have a competition for the Calypso tank.
Yes.
Yes, a relay.
Yes.
What you call a mixed relay. Two males, two females. And her tank is one of the major people that expect to do well in that day. In fact, when I called her, she was excited because you know what she said? She said, well, I don't know if I'm ready. I said, it ain't ready for you. It's for the tank.
I was a little wondering. I used to say, which leg if I got ready first?
Which relay it is? A walking relay?
How was the distance?
Yes.
But the others are excited to be part of it.
Ready.
Yes,
Your
indeed.
team is ready.
Oh, yes, indeed.
You know Stray Cat is ready too, right, Matt?
Stray Cat is ready.
Yes, but you know, competition drives us, so we ready.
Roberts is the leader of that thing.
Yes.
And then he talked about it, he agreed and everything, and then he called back. He said, well, Roberts, we like, he understand. He said, Mac, listen, what was the age limit? I said, no, this one is open. He said, open? I'm going to dust them out.
And so, folks, that's the whole point. Garner your supporters.
Indeed,
Bring
indeed.
them along.
Right.
Come on out and
Yes.
support us.
Talk to them. Which camera is hers? Right here,
This
look.
one here, June the 9th, House of Soca, we are going to win that relay. Come out and support us.
And the trophy that Julie Party has donated.
Trophy definitely be there. We love a trophy.
I know you folks, you're laughing, you think this is all sport. It's going to be fun. I use the word spectacle deliberately, but at the same time, active aging requires exercise.
That's right.
And that's what the purpose of the National Seniors Games is all about. To get our seniors
I was asking the age limit, and they said 40. And because I had a birthday yesterday, and I'm only 39. If only I was 40.
If only. But certainly, we're all invited to come out and give full support to all of the activities they need. Right. And so,
yeah, not only that, you have also the essential services will be coming, and they're excited too. And yesterday, I got a call from one of them. He was inquiring too about the age limit. And when he got, as soon as I told him what it was free for all. He heard somebody back when he said that we're going to dust them out. He got this, and he's from another area too. So we got the police sent in 2 teams. They told me to guarantee me 2 teams. Yes. Defense Force yesterday at the meeting we had the fellow from Defense Force. He quietly said, "I am a 400 runner."
Oh, great!
You understand? He's serious. He said he's been trained and they're ready. The customs ready, immigration ready, police, the fire service, the prison office.
You need to get
ready.
The media.
Huh?
The media.
CBC is invited.
Versus Stockholm. You dust them out.
You know, give me 10 girl.
And first you know you walk. So
That's right. You dust them out, man.
You gonna walk when the rest running?
Well, somebody has to walk.
But I heard it said it's dominoes, so you can play that as well.
Well, that is true. That is true.
But he played tennis. He said he played tennis.
I did tennis.
Yes.
He said he played football. He said he run for his house. He tell me he played golf, but they had the clubs, all kind of things. But don't forget too, it's for parishes. This is what we're doing this year, right? Yeah. So the parishes, and we're inviting, we want to invite this morning, all politicians. All politicians should come. All politicians should come. Because if you got your constituency, their constituency is in a parish, you should be coming to give your parish a point.
Correct.
And I feel if you don't give your parish a point, the parish going to look at you funny.
And don't give you a point. So let me score some points. All politicians should get involved as well.
Yes.
Right.
And this year too, what we're doing, we're charging a fee at the gate, a little $10, small $10 and a small $40 for children. And we can take the proceeds and give every cent going to charity. So the big beers come in charter race. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's come out there and help out, man. And then of course we got the all the normal races going on, but don't forget we got field events that we're trying to promote. As a separate entity, we want to push field events and give it some more recognition. So we hold it by itself or kind of way. But the jumps that would be still at bolt, but the field, the other javelin discus shot put, which can be very dangerous. You got to get space to throw them far.
Yes.
So we have them at the Queen's College and on the 31st of May.
May.
And then, but the Monday is the big day. And that's where Pearson, I expect to see you down there. You see how rhyming? It's a big day. And Pearson
down there.
Yes.
Say it with all your energy. Italia, the launch quickly, the launch.
May 24th, we're going to have
Next weekend,
yes, within a week, so you got time to come. We're going to have it from Ministry of People Empowerment and Elder. You're very, yes. And we're going all through the communities. We're going to pick up all the athletes in Pelican Village and have an active living movement fair in Golden Square Freedom Park. Yes, all vibes. Come on out. People are coming. People are calling. I getting some calls. So we hope to see you guys there. Active aging, active living. That's what the Senior Games in our 21st year is about.
So the launch is on the 24th at Golden Square. There's a bit of a motorcade. And so we're watching it right there on the screen. So that's the route we'll follow. We want you to line the streets, but most of all, come to Golden Square. We're having active living, active aging. And so it leaves Golden Square, go down, pick up the athletes at Pelican and come back.
Actually, we leave the ministry in Warrens. We're going through the communities. Community spirit.
It's a big spectacle.
Yes, it is. And we have some artists on board. We got TC, we got Bag, and some surprise performances as well. Spinny is going to be there.
Right.
And we're going to have the National Assistance Board line dance. I cannot have a senior program without line dance.
Yes.
For sure.
For sure. This is big, folks.
And don't forget the races too with the old school. Like you that never get a point for your school, you can come and get a point for your school now. Yeah. So get your old school team together. And knapsack coming and be like last time. And we're gonna have some real fun down there, man.
It's gonna be big folks.
Competition.
Lord have mercy. This is all exciting already. I'm ready to go outside and walk in the rain. I get my shut up, Mark. Indeed. But folks, get ready for the National Seniors Games. It launches next weekend, next Saturday, and then we are ding dong battle from there on in, and it's going for a few weeks. So pace yourself accordingly.
Remember, bring the muscles, bring all the muscles and
bring
come.
Everything. Bring everything and come.
Your muscles, and bring your basket and bring your umbrella and your chair and everything, and we're going to have a good time.
We're going to have a good time.
And because it's in the games and because you got to keep the muscles going, because without muscles, person, you can't move.
At all.
And bring the muscles down there, we can work with them, man.
Correct.
Bring all yours too.
Yeah, I left home with someone, I'll bring the rest. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Mark. And thank you, Sharon, as well. Folks, that's it for today. We want to thank you so much for joining us. Indeed, my little crew joins me in saying to all of you, have yourselves a wonderful Wednesday. See you tomorrow.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning.